This week we'll open with our intro. ElectroGamer96 is a friend of mine who I have known for a few months now. Electro has over 250 followers on Twitter, and he contacted me following the previous upload and asked me to record an episode. I happily obliged. That's gonna be the title of this episode. It goes to 11. No, that's gonna be the title of the 11th episode.
Oh my god.
Anyways, Electro,
Yes?
I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Yeah, somebody's excited for this. I hope. Fingers crossed. Maybe? Question mark? Exclamation point? Tilde key?
Bruh, I've been excited for this, because I've actually, after watching your episode of Joe Scout, I got immediately giddy, because, quite honestly, I've never been interviewed like this before.
Oh, dang. Hello,
Yeah,
and welcome to
this
Breaking
is-
News.
this is-
Yeah. But, so, I'm going to skip over the blatantly obvious question, because we all know, based off the fact that you're here, in this series, that you are a fan of My Little Pony. But where were you Huh?
I was just gonna say, well, duh.
Okay, so, ignoring the blatantly obvious question, where were you before My Little Pony?
Okay, so back when I was young and stupid, no, I'm just kidding. I think it was back in 2012. I was in high school, or I think I was in my sophomore year of high school.
What year was that?
And
2012?
yes, I think so.
Okay, just double checking. I want to give context for our audience.
No, you're fine. I think it was in 2012. It was around Christmas time. And at the time, I was into a bunch of different stuff. Like, at the time, I was into, and I still am, into, like, Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends.
Yes.
I was into, Transformers. I was into Sonic the Hedgehog.
Nice.
I was into a lot of different stuff. In fact, a lot of very ungeneric ones sometimes. Like, I was even into Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time.
You've activated my trap card.
Yeah, let's go with that. I even have a dual disc. Anyway, so I was, man, I haven't told this story in a long time, but it was early one morning, getting closer to Christmas time. And we were getting stuff ready for our Christmas dinner. Well, it was in the early morning, and at the time, they had these little ditties where some of the characters on what was originally called the Hub Network.
Ah, the Hub. The channel I
yes,
never watched as a kid.
I was watching the Hub Network because of the show Transformers Prime, which it was a fantastic series. And one day I switched over to the Hub to see what was going on, without knowing what I was selecting, and I saw this little ditty going on, where they were like Megatron, some of the Pound Puppies, and some of the ponies from My Little Pony were humming along to what was it? Probably, I think it was Deck the Halls.
Oh.
And I thought it was super funny. So I pressed record on my TV device. After I had done that, I was called away to do something. But I didn't know that I had left the recording on. So when I came back, I noticed I had a 27-minute clip, and it actually recorded the first Christmas episode of My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, Heartswarming Eve.
That was a heartwarming tale.
Heartwarming Tale. Yeah, that's what. That's what it
What
was.
episode was that? I need some help with this one. What episode was that? Season 2, episode, I want to say 14?
I think so. I know it was some. I think it was somewhere in the middle there. Um, and I figured, you know what? I have this thing on my DVR. I might as well watch it so I could delete it after. I watched the episode, and for some reason, I didn't hit the delete button because it was actually a really good tale to listen to. Like it was kind of like a Christmas story that's not the Christmas story, if you know what I'm talking about.
Oh. Also, a heartwarming tale actually is a different episode. That's the season 5 episode with Starlight Glimmer. Or no, season 6 actually.
Was I right the first time?
Heartwarming Eve is season 2, episode 11.
That's the one I was talking about.
Yeah, don't worry, don't
I
worry.
was right the first time.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I watched the episode, and I was blown away. It was really, really good. Like it was something I was not expecting from what I was expecting to be such a girly show. And yes, there were moments that were girly, but other times it actually got dark and gritty sometimes. And I was like, this is a girl show? So I kept it on my DVR and I kept watching it over and over and over. I probably memorized almost all the lines of that episode before I finally realized.
Isn't that the definition of insanity, just doing the same thing over and over again?
Oh, ha
Comedy!
ha. So basically, after I watched the episode, I'm like, okay, I'm willing to give this a shot because it actually came on before Transformers Prime. So I figured, you know what? It's before Transformers Prime. Let me watch a couple of episodes and let me see where I go with this. Because there's got to be some sort of meaning behind this. So so the next day, before the new episode of Transformers Prime came on, I watched a new episode of MLP, which turned out to be the episode right before the coronation episode.
The coronation.
And yeah, it was before it was when Twilight got her wings.
Oh, Magical Mystery Cure.
Yeah, it was the episode right before then.
Probably what would that be? The one where like Spike and one of the episodes that was like done at the same time, right? Like there was one Spike side of it, Spike at each service, I think it was called. No, that was when Spike helped out Applejack. God, I feel like
it was when Spike was taking care of the pets.
Yeah, the second episode in that series was them at the Crystal Empire. Kane's had a bad hair day.
Yeah, very bad hair day.
Oh yes.
But then I saw the commercial that Twilight Sparkle was put into the Hub Network Hall of Fame. I was like, okay, this is interesting. So I watched Magical Mystery Cure, and at that point, I could probably say that I was a pretty big fan of the show. And yes, I'm going to make this joke. Thanks, M.A. Larson. Not just kidding. But then afterwards, I started going online, and I realized, I started watching a lot of YouTube, and that's when I decided to make my YouTube channel. And right off the bat, I'm gonna say I had 4 freaking channels.
4
freaking channels. 3 with my actual name, which I'm never gonna go back to. I probably need to find a way to go and delete those. But because they were really, really crappy stuff. Like I was using I was making Thomas videos at the time because I was making there was one episode like a really crappy episode where I had a tiny toy Thomas, a Percy that was way bigger, an Anakin Skywalker figure as Sir Topham Hatt, and Sonic the Hedgehog.
Why do I have a feeling I need to now find these videos?
No, you don't.
I kid, I kid.
But then I made what was originally known as Rainbow Shadow 96, which was my original YouTube name actually. This was before I even knew that Steam was a thing. This was before I knew TF2 was a thing, and all sorts of stuff. Um, so after I made Rainbow Shadow 96, I started to make other kinds of content. Like I started experimenting with my channel. And I realized that I could, with Audacity, after I can't remember what the YouTuber's name was. It was, I think it was the Darkness Mare. She made like higher pitch and lower pitch videos of the ponies singing, and which I thought were the greatest thing ever at the time. Like I said, young and stupid. So I started making some of those, and I realized it was gaining a lot of traction. I'm like, what the heck? So I started to make more pony-related content. I was still doing a lot of Thomas-related content. Like, don't get me wrong, like Thomas was still my number one priority at the time. But then I started looking more and more on the internet, and one time I found out that there was a name for the fandom, which was a brony. And I started looking into bronies. Like I was not literally, okay, don't get a dirty mind. I'm just kidding.
My mind was dirty long before you mentioned that. My mind got kind of dirty at the bit when you said. My mind got kind of dirty at the bit when you said I was looking on the internet.
Oh, very funny. I went searching on Know Your Meme. But anyway, so I started looking online and around YouTube, and I saw a bunch of videos on bronies, and I was like, is this really a thing? And I even this is all true. This is too stupid to make up. I went onto a Minecraft server. Okay, at the time I was into Minecraft. I was really big into Minecraft. Like I was watching Scottish Minecraft almost every day when he was
Sounds
still
like
a
you're
thing.
really well versed in your fandoms.
Yeah, I'm kind of a geek. Anyway, um, so I went on to Minecraft and I put a simple message into the chat because I was very, very curious. Is anyone here a brony? Not 2 seconds after I put that comment in, 30 comments. No joke. 30 comments said, I am. And I was like,
Wow.
holy crap.
That
Yeah, this was on a Minecraft. This is on a Minecraft server.
That is insane.
And I got in contact with one of these guys. He was named Kingdom Creations. I don't know if he's still on YouTube right now or not. But he went off to do his own thing. But and which honestly, good for him. And we got to talking, and it was the legit thing, and I was dumbfounded. So I literally set the series to record on my DVR, and one day I just binged the entire series until season 4 came out. And I guess you could say I was kind of hooked at that time.
That's a really cool story. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing that.
absolutely. I mean, it's fun to relive the memories of MLP.
Yeah, sticking or having those memories still is very important because it's like you gotta hang on to the things that matter to you.
Absolutely. And from just being in this fandom, I have gained a lot of friends. Like this is probably gonna answer a question that you were probably gonna say anyway. Like what was it like? Actually, this is kind of playing into the question that you just asked me. I'm sorry. But when I was in high school or like junior high, I was bullied beyond belief. Like it was
Relatable.
it was ridiculous what happened to me. Like I would people would or some of the kids would literally push me over and say that I did something. Like, it was that bad.
Wow.
So my parents took me out of public school, and it was around sixth grade. This happened, like halfway through sixth grade. Um, and For the rest of my junior high years, I was homeschooled.
Oh.
And then when I went to high school, I was put to a private school, which was in a town that's literally 30 miles away from me.
Electro.
So yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just wanted to say that is the closest I've ever heard of somebody else's experience to mine.
Really?
Yeah. The audience won't know this, but in seventh grade, I was pulled out of my public middle school because of the
Mm-hmm.
fact that I got bullied. I got sent to a private school in the same town. Then for high school, I went to a private school roughly 20 miles away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this isn't about me. This is about you. So we're going to
No,
keep talking about you.
I get no, I get it. But thank you for telling me.
Yeah.
Um,
The more you know.
so I started going to private school, and the bullying was still kind of there. Like, it was still like
Existent.
people would just kind of pick on me and stuff like that. Like but I tried not to let it bother me. But one day, this was when it kind of pushed me over the edge. On my sophomore year, I brought some Yu-Gi-Oh cards to my school, and because this was at a church, there were people that were thinking that Yu-Gi-Oh was a quote unquote satanic game.
How did I know it would go there?
Trust me, you don't want to know.
Oh.
So these people, they literally called my mom, and they said, and I'm only saying this because this is a true fact. Every single one of the cards, every single one, were thrown in the garbage. Every single one.
G
Cards,
bus.
cards I had collected for years, all in the garbage can. I saved a few, but not all of them. All of them ended up in the trash.
Dude, I am sorry to hear that.
So after that happened, I was like, well, what the heck am I going to do? Because my classes were like hours apart. Like, I would have a 3 hour break. So I so this was around the time when I started getting into MLP, which was my sophomore year. And I go to a store called Dollar General, which is a little consignment store. You know, that almost everything is literally $1.
Oh yeah. They always
And
fail to mention that they add tax to that.
yeah, tell me about it. Dollar Tree, people. Anyway,
Anyways, you're saying?
so yeah, so I go to where the books are because I figured, you know what, there might be a book or something I can read. And I look in the activity books, and I see that MLP had a bunch of coloring and activity books. So I was like, you know what? I think I will test out my artistic ability. And I got 3 books that day. Uh, and let me tell you, they're all colored in. Like I would take the books to school, and I'm telling you right now, the amount of emotional support that I got when I took those books in was overwhelming. People were coming up asking if they could color with me.
Wow.
So at that point, I was like, okay, I'm kind of ready to find out what this was about. And I told you, and I told you everything else.
That That right there is a brilliant, brilliant story. That right there is the reason that I made this podcast. It's stories like that that really just give you the hope to know that things are going to be okay. Electro,
Oh yeah,
I would like to thank you for sharing your stories.
absolutely.
At this point, there was an awkward silence as I didn't know what to say. That's a good question. Electro, what? First and foremost, have you ever been to a convention?
I actually have. Since I live in Texas, at the time there weren't very many cons. Um, but around, I think it was after season 5 came around. It was when I found out about Nightmare Nights here in Dallas, Texas.
Ah.
Um, and for the first time in my life, I went to a Brony convention, and holy crap, it was amazing. Like it was so awesome to see like what was what a con that spawned from what a lot what everybody there originally thought was a kiddie girls program.
And look at the
And
fireworks. Look at what it's created.
yeah. Um so I distinctly remember the first panel that I ever went to was uh I believe it was how like it was like a thing that from about analysis, which was like how some of the analysts make their analysis videos. Um, and this was when I met the YouTubers known as Emerald Comet, or no, not Emerald Comet. It was another green pony. She has or they had a blue mane, bluish purple mane.
I'm
I think
drawing a
had a
blank.
broken horn.
I am definitely drawing a blank then.
I know it's someone that knows some of the analysts pretty well. But anyway, so it was that person, Lightning Bliss, Robin0928,
Hey, somebody
and for
knows
the
who Robin is.
you wouldn't believe me if I told you that I actually I recognized it was Robin because I originally saw one of his videos before I even went to the con.
Oh, nice.
But anyway, so in for the first time in my life, Silverquill, I saw him, and he had given out a bunch of little silver quills, like a little patch. Um, so I went to that panel, and it was a lot of fun. And then afterwards, I went to the vendor hall, and the amount of fan art, the amount of merchandise, the amount of toys, the amount of posters, quilts, pillows, all kinds of stuff just from Twilight Sparkle. That tells you something. And that's not mentioning every single other character.
Oh, wow.
And it was nuts. And so I'm just walking around, and I actually bought my first piece of pony merchandise, which was a boxed up vinyl scratch figure.
Here's the question. Is it still in this box?
What kind of question is that? Yes, it is.
I just like to ask because some people unbox things like that. And, like,
It's literally sitting up there with my Rose Goku Black. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Nice.
Um, but anyway, so the next year I went, and it was the first time I got to meet one of my idols. I met DeWilstonator before he even met Katie. At least that's what I think. I could be wrong on that.
Dual
But
Simulator is becoming a very running topic in the series of videos, I've noticed.
dude, okay. this is going to be quite a shock, but I've talked to DeWilstonator before he ever became DeWilstonator.
Wow, he's gonna drop a Moab on you for that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say much about his old channel. I'm just gonna say that I grew up watching a lot of his stuff,
Oh, same here, same
and
here.
when I found out that he was also a brony, I was like, "You have got to be kidding." um, but that was when I found out that he and Joey Turner were also bronies. And when I found this out, I went to the TF2 analysis panel that was there at the next Nightmare Nights. This had DeWilstonator, Eliora, Lightning Bliss, and for some reason Robin and Dr. Wolf. And it was really, really cool to meet these people. There was one other person there, but I'm not bringing him up. I'd rather not, because it's kind of a painful thing.
Don't worry, I get it.
But but actually, funny story. I was actually featured in one of DeWilstonator's vlogs when he was at this Nightmare Nights. It was in 2016, and you can actually look it up. It's day 2 and day 3.
Just on the screen right now, there's gonna be a picture of you. Don't worry, I'm not actually gonna do that. But I'm not gonna do that actually because you told me to.
Actually, I'm gonna condone it for this because this is really ridiculous. In fact, you can play the clip. I don't care.
That would get me in trouble with YouTube, so I can't do that.
But okay, I get you. But you can actually just show the picture.
Oh yeah, I'll show the picture.
So during day 2, there was a thing going on called the In Our Town Marching Band, and it was where all of us would get into a line, and we would walk around the venue singing "In Our Town" from season 5, episode 1.
Oh, nice.
And at that point, I didn't know this song because honestly, it's not my favorite song. Like, I'm gonna be flat out honest, it's probably one of the worst for me. So I was just there just to have fun, and during this, they had us hold these papers that had the Equalist sign on it. Which, okay, fine, that makes sense because it's in our town. So I'm walking. I'm near the end of the line, okay, and I'm holding this sign with the goofiest grin on my face, just dancing along to this with a Soundwave cosplayer behind me. And I pass the vendor hall. I look to my right, and there is Will in his spy costume. I didn't realize it was Will until I noticed it on his channel. I watched the video, and I'm like, oh no. And I looked, and I remember I looked at this camera that was just pointed at me for some reason. And I didn't even know that it was Will in the spy costume.
And the rest is history, I guess.
Yeah, so you can show that on the screen. Y'all can also go to Will's channel, check that out. That's, oh my god, I felt like a complete idiot, but you know what? It's a brony fandom, so I was happy to do it.
Yeah, but you know, just because I've got one last question for you, Electro.
Yeah.
And you might have already answered this, actually, but I just want to ask you this formally. What is your best memory from any con? Or if you want me to be more specific, the last con you went to.
Okay, I'm actually going to say I have 2 best memories.
Let's go with them.
Okay, so the first best memory was playing Yu-Gi-Oh! With Lightning Bliss's husband, Sub-Zero. It was really, really fun. He whooped my ass, I'm not gonna lie.
Oof.
Blue Eyes White Dragon. No, just kidding.
You've activated my trap card,
Yeah, thank you.
which
Um,
allows me to draw 3 more cards.
ugh,
Sorry,
anyway,
I just had to.
no, you're fine. It's become kind of a running joke with me too. Um, and then the or actually, I'm sorry, three best moments. The first one was playing Yu-Gi-Oh with Sub-Zero. The second was actually I was going to the autograph hall, where you could go in and get
Yeah.
autographs from certain voice actresses. I go in, and this was around the time that Rainbow Rocks had come out, and it was, and I love Rainbow Rocks. It's my favorite Equestria Girls movie,
Music's pretty
and
good.
I took the movie with me because Kazumi Evans and Marie Kendricks were going to be there. And so I actually got to meet Kazumi Evans and Marie Kendricks, the voices of Adagio Dazzle and Sonata Dusk.
Nice.
And it was really cool. They even signed my DVD.
That's a cherished item. I don't
It,
care
it,
what you say. That's a cherished item.
it is I'll take out the DVD to watch the movie, but if anybody even so much as touches the freaking cover, I'm gonna snap their hand.
Oh no! Don't. We here in the stream we do not condone violence unless you touch other people's stuff.
So, excuse
So
me.
that was 2 of 3, if I'm correct.
Yes, and I think the biggest memory, probably one of my favorite, all-time favorite memories, was during the final Nightmare Nights. It was the last one, and Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, and a few others were there. I don't think Dr. Wolf made it. I could be wrong. But I do know that Lightning Bliss and Silver Quill were there. Um, and a couple of friends of ours, a couple friends of mine, we went up there to the con, and I don't know how this happened, but my friend was able to get us to actually have dinner, or sorry, have lunch with Silver Quill, Lightning Bliss, Tarek, and Lightning's nephew.
Wow.
And we went to a Chili's, and we had lunch together. It was probably one of the best moments of my life. Like, to meet the people and actually talk to the people that I've watched for so long, and to actually be sitting with them, it's a surreal experience. Like, it's like, what do you say? Because these are people that have dedicated their entire YouTube channel to this show about ponies. And in my eyes, the best way that I can sum up the MLP fandom is literally one word. I can sum up this entire fandom with one word:
What's that word?
friends. Everyone in this fandom is a friend to someone. It is, and it's not just inside the fandom that these people are friends with. They take these lessons that these characters have taught us, and they spread them. They try to make more friends along the way. And that to me is worth way more than any autograph, than any piece of merchandise, than any clip of a show, than any episode. What matters the most to me is we carry on the legacy that is My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. So when I say that the final season or the final episode put me to tears, that's an understatement. And it wasn't because I was sad that the show was over.
It's like a.
I was
Sorry, you go,
I'm
you go,
sorry.
you go.
I was crying of joy. The joy that MLP, after, let's face it, 9 years, 9 seasons, 5 movies, bunch of specials, and even a fantastic Christmas special, best gift ever. It's truly been one of the greatest shows of our generation. And I'm gonna say this right now. I'm going to predict even 100 years from now, people will still take these lessons and pass them on to the next generation. Just like in the final episode of MLP with Luster Dawn. Twilight passed her knowledge on to Luster Dawn, and she's making a lot of friends. And that's what we aim to achieve in the Brony fandom, is just making friends. And that, to me, is the true spirit of the MLP fandom.
Electro, I would
Mm-hmm.
like to thank you personally for doing this with me. This
Absolutely. Like,
conversation has been eye-opening. I now have a new appreciation for things that I didn't really think much of before. And
absolutely.
all in all, before I sign this off, I'd like to say thank you.
You're more than welcome. Like, and I just want to say hashtag thank you MLP.
And on that bombshell, I'm going to sign this video off. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for listening. We hope to see you all in the next episode. And any last words?
Just my slogan. Transform and stay pony, my friends.
Peace.